everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of
Full
Metal
bracket.
Bracket. Yes, sir. We are back this week with one of our final Full Metal brackets. This is something that the patrons have been sending in, which we appreciate madly. Anywhere from 32 to 64 choices, depending on the topic. And Matt and I essentially do a March Madness type situation and count it. What do we do? Like count it down all the way to the end, so to speak?
Well, we do the top half of the bracket, and then John will open up and he'll do the top half of the bracket, leading the charge, and then I'll take over and do the bottom half of the bracket. And then ultimately, we're trying to decide on today which is the best MCU character, not one of the original 5 Avengers.
Yeah. This is a very, very interesting bracket here from Charles Kim. He says, "Hi, Matt and John. Happy New Year, and thanks for another great year of content in 2022. I feel like I've set the bar high for myself with previous brackets regarding movie theater candy and 80s TV theme songs, which were great.
Yep.
So I hope you enjoy this new bracket I created. In your opinion, who is the best MCU character who is not one of the original 5 Avengers? Here's the criteria I used to narrow down my choices. Characters are ranked by total minutes on screen since Phase 1.
Wow.
Characters had to appear in more than one movie or TV show. Therefore, some Phase 5 characters were left out. Characters had to have engaged in serious action during the 5 phases. I'm sorry, Happy Hogan," says Charles. "Like before, I've linked a spreadsheet showing the rankings of the MCU character by total screen time in minutes. Take care and have fun." And he has his final 4 at the end here. So we'll read that out at the end. Matt, do you have it printed out, or how do we do this?
I've got it printed out.
Okay. All right.
So we are ready to roll, sir.
Okay. All right. Let's start with the first half of the bracket here. Ranking in, and it's 32 characters, by the way, so letting you all know. Coming in at number 1, Spider-Man, the Tom Holland Spider-Man versus Yondu. I mean,
great matchup.
Yes.
By the way, a lot of fun, because I could see myself talking myself into going either way here.
Really? Oh, wow.
Because Yondu is such a distinct original character.
He is so good.
And Rooker, who I thought was a weird casting when they announced it.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing against Rooker. I was like, oh, how is he going to fold into? And then I was like, well, it's also a movie with a talking raccoon in a tree. So is that really my biggest problem with this? It's just, I thought he was an interesting choice. Because I just normally think of him as like something more like Mississippi Burning, or something right. Like, that's what I think of. Great actor, incredible character, but just a shit heel and a terrible person, and not somebody I want to root for.
Yeah,
and Yondu ends up being somebody I liked rooting for. But with all that pussyfooting around, it's Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's Tom Holland Spider-Man. Just because he's just more of the emotional center of his movies, and as cool as Yondu is for that moment in the sky with Star-Lord, it's not 100% as resonant as Spider-Man Tom Holland is. So yeah, I'll go with Spider-Man. All right, so our next matchup, number 16 versus number 17. Number 16, War Machine, Rhodey Rhodes there versus Nick Fury. Whoa. Interesting. The 2 black men up against each other here.
This one was easy for me. Nick Fury.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
Yeah, I have to agree, man. It seems like they absolutely wanted to make Rhodes a different kind of character that would be much more subservient, submissive, for lack of a better term, to Tony Stark. There's no way Terrence Howard would have played it this way. And look, Cheadle's a badass and can play characters however he wants, but clearly this is what they wanted for War Machine. And so I just think Nick Fury has way more power in the MCU than War Machine.
I think Terrence had to go off and figure out the final points of his new math. And I'm waiting on
where is his new math?
The paper on that was supposed to be out like 5 years ago, but maybe this magnum opus is just taking a little bit more time as he tweaks it and changes the fundamental understanding of the universe.
It's like Trump's infrastructure week. It just doesn't, it's never going to happen. We keep hearing about it.
Eventually.
All right. So number 8 is, oh my God, this is a crazy matchup. Number 8 here, Ant-Man / Scott Lang versus at number 25, Groot. Whoa.
I think this is an easier one in that
Really? Okay.
Groot I like a lot, but he also basically, you know exactly what you're getting in every scene. There's very rarely like a
Mhm.
curveball from Groot.
Yeah.
So for that reason, plus I like the addition. Thought Ant-Man was a good addition to the overall universe itself. Uh,
Yeah.
and very well realized on screen too. So I'm taking Ant-Man.
This is rough for me because I love Groot as a character. And Ant-Man sometimes gets on my nerves. He's not even the star of his own movies most of the time.
I don't fault him for that. I fault the powers that be because that last one, it's why I didn't care for it all that much. It's like, where's Ant-Man? Ant-Man's getting sidelined for 3 new people.
Yeah. Well, we get more people coming up in the third
Yeah, I
one,
know.
so we'll see.
It's just part and parcel with him now.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. Fuck, but Groot is so like he sacrifices himself. He's so funny being the young Groot, the baby Groot, and then the teenage angsty Groot. And we're
Mhm.
gonna get more older Groot here in 3. Oof. Whereas Scott Lang is just kind of a dweeb. Yeah, dude, in an upset, I'm gonna go Groot. I'm gonna go Groot in an upset. Sorry, I just think it's the best, and I like Groot better than I like Ant-Man. There we go. All right, our next matchup here, another tough one, maybe. Number 9, Rocket Raccoon versus number 24, Valkyrie, the Tessa Thompson character from the Thor series. I mean,
I know the answer to this, and I feel bad for one of the two
I know, right? It's
because
terrible.
it's a cool character. I like the character a lot,
Yeah.
but the fact that we now have an entire emotional arc that is going to pay off in a third movie for a fucking raccoon
Good point, dude.
really tells me that raccoon. They Bradley Cooper doing a New York accent. I was like, okay, coming into this, that's the talking raccoon, and it works flawlessly.
Yeah.
And every time someone makes fun of him for being a raccoon, it's just you think I asked to be this? There's a resonance to it. So
Yeah.
Rocket is my answer.
Yeah, I have to go with Rocket as well, even though I love Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie. I think Love and Thunder kind of did her a disservice, which undercuts it a little bit. Whereas I don't think Rocket's ever had any film or any appearance do him a disservice. It just only adds more to the legend of the character of Rocket Raccoon. So yeah, I got to go Rocket as well. All right, so our next matchup here is number 4, Doctor Strange versus number 29, Okoye, played by Denai Guerrera there in the Black Panther series. I mean, I have to choose what I have to choose, but
yeah, which is Doctor Strange.
Yeah, which is Doctor Strange. As much as I love Okoye and she's a fucking badass, this is just an unfair matchup in the first round because he is fucking so good. Doctor Strange.
And you said Guerrera. I thought it was Guerrera.
No, is it? I've only ever heard it as Guerrera.
I thought it was, Denai Guerrera. But
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe it's a Saldana situation where
Oh, maybe. You might be right.
we've all been saying it one way and it's actually another. Like, Thibodeau and Thibodeau. It's actually Thibodeau.
I think Denzel said that the other day.
What's that?
That it's Donzel or something like that.
You get the fuck out of here. It's not Donzel.
I'm just saying.
It's 40 years of calling him Denzel. 40 years. There's no way it's Donzel. If it is, that's some fucking revisionist history. No chance, my man. No chance.
It was a new one. And I can't remember who it was who was mispronouncing the name.
It's Tomb Honks. All right.
It's been Tomb the whole time.
Tomb Honks, you son of a bitch. And my wife, Rita. Okay. Okay. You know what? There might be something to this. Vaccines are fucking people up because I'm not buying that Tomb.
Oh, man. Yes, here we go. Denzel tells us yet again that we're pronouncing his name wrong.
Yet again, when was the first time?
This is in 2022. It's actually pronounced Denzel. Denzel, not Denzel.
Denzel's fine. Donzel's like there is no Don.
Sorry about that.
Denzel
is what
That's
he
terrible.
says. Yeah.
Denzel.
I'm Denzel Hayes Washington Jr. My father was Denzel. My mother would say,
God, it sounds like a Brothers Grimm character.
Yeah.
Denzel.
He said my father was Denzel. My mother would say Denzel, and we would both walk in the room. So then she said to me, okay, from now on, you're Denzel. So interesting.
That is interesting. Normally they give him a nickname or a shortened abbreviated.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Junior.
Yeah.
All right. And so we have that matchup there.
Doctor Strange takes that.
Okay. And then I think and then our next matchup here is Drax, the Dave Bautista character, of course, versus Pepper Potts.
Is the easiest dunk on in the first round so far.
Go ahead.
Which is Drax.
Yeah, I know. I have to take Drax.
Pepper just doesn't do a whole lot.
No.
And then once she comes in Endgame, it's like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
Like the end of Iron Man 3, we're supposed to believe that she's been doing this the whole time. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. No. That was Gwyneth Paltrow saying, look.
Yeah, if you want me to
do. Yeah.
Although I would have told her to fuck off because she didn't realize that Sam Jackson was in the Marvel movies. It's like, well, if you don't even pay attention to these billion-dollar entities, why are we kowtowing to you?
Yeah, to her acting is just something to fucking do. It's not even.
Yeah, no, I mean, you want to talk about low effort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, once you started Goop, it's like, it's something I do for fun. Acting. All right. Winter Soldier / Bucky versus, number 5, Winter Soldier / Bucky versus number 28, Thanos. Holy shit, Matt. Woo.
Which is crazy that given how much time he's on screen in Infinity War and Endgame, that he's still that low. But I feel bad for Buck.
Yeah.
But Thanos is just a better character.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. 100%. Even with Falcon and Winter Soldier, I still would take Thanos over Bucky. So, yeah. All right. So then our last matchup in the first round here on my side of the bracket, Shuri at number 12 versus Yelena Belova at number 21. She has more screen time than Thanos. Fascinating. Okay.
There's no fucking way.
I mean, I guess he's including the TV show, maybe?
Yeah, he said in that he had to be in more than one movie and or television show. Yeah. So if you're just She-Hulk, well, if you haven't made the venture out in 2, then you're not making it past. So, yeah, when you factor in, I guess, the TV show, I don't even know which TV show is it.
Well, she was in Hawkeye.
Okay, that makes sense.
A couple episodes of Hawkeye.
Well, didn't watch it. Don't care.
It's good, but all right.
But best of luck to you, Jeremy. I hope you have a speedy recovery and all is well in your world.
No shit. Yeah.
But I did not watch your show. And because of that, I only have the one movie to go off of. So the fact that Shuri has been used more, I'm going to take Shuri because I've seen more of her. Even though I'm not a fan of her in the lead in Wakanda Forever. I think she's perfect in Black Panther and, Infinity War / Endgame. So I'm taking Shuri.
When you talk about best, it means interesting, right? And I just find Yelena Belova more interesting than I do Shuri. And like you said earlier with one of the other characters, or Ant-Man, that just may be the fault of how they've constructed her character. And I think she's fun in the movie, in Black Panther, certainly, in what she's doing. But she's like a free-spirited person, and it's cool. In the second movie, the transition doesn't work as powerfully. Whereas Florence Pugh is just immediately become an energy you want to see in the MCU more. And with a complex approach to her character, an interesting approach to her character, mixing the humor with the darkness really well. So I have to go Yelena Belova in that battle there. Okay, so we move on to the second round here. Both of us have Spider-Man Tom Holland versus Nick Fury.
That's a surprisingly tough matchup for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man.
Sure.
But Sam Jackson is just perfect as Nick Fury. They got that casting so spot on.
Oh, they did. You're right. For what they wanted to do with it, 100%.
Yeah. I think the hurdle
Mhm.
or the bar was much higher to clear for Tom Holland, so I'll take Spider-Man for that reason
Okay.
because we've seen other iterations.
I'm going to have to agree with you. I'm going to take Spider-Man as well, simply because Nick Fury kind of disappears for a while. And I think the energy of Spider-Man carries through. Um, and he's just a little bit more interesting, right? So as much as I love Nick Fury, I think Spider-Man is the much more interesting character, which I think has to be an element of best. All right, both of us. Well, no, actually, it's kind of a split here. Ant-Man for
Yeah.
Matt versus Rocket Raccoon, and I have the old running mates, Groot versus Rocket Raccoon. So, what do you got, Matt?
Rocket
Yeah,
whoops up on Ant-Man for me.
yeah, I'm gonna have to go Rocket as well. And like you said, there's gonna be a great end to his arc in the next Guardians film. So, I kind of have to go Rocket. So, yeah. All right, then we have our next matchup here in the second round: Doctor Strange versus Drax. Woof.
I'm going to take Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I'm going to take Doctor Strange too, and that's the reason why Dave Bautista is leaving the MCU, because they didn't do more with Drax. They didn't do more with his character, and he said this in interviews. They had the opportunity to do it and didn't do it, and I think that's kind of the reason why you would take Doctor Strange. If there, we know about his daughter and we know about his wife, but if we had seen more, we had seen flashbacks, we had seen his journey, standalone Drax series, I think that would have really given us a much more stronger connection and maybe made it a fairer fight here against Doctor Strange.
Plus, now he can segue over into being something over in the DCU.
I know. Saw some people suggesting Lex Luthor. Be interesting.
Oh, that is interesting. Yeah, he'd be a good Kingpin. He'd be a good Bane.
Yeah.
He'd be a good, like, he would fit a lot. But for Christ's sake, will somebody write him a rom-com? I mean, what are we doing?
He's too ugly, man. Come on. Or so he thinks.
Yeah.
All right. Our next matchup here is Thanos versus Shuri for Matt and Yelena Belova for me.
I already wrote our answer down in the next bracket. I forgot that was a matchup that we had to discuss. I didn't even consult you. I just went ahead and wrote Thanos.
Yeah. You're right.
It's nothing against the other two, but Thanos is pretty amazing.
Please, come on.
So,
Yelena hasn't had enough time to compete with something like Thanos. So
yeah. And now Shuri, for me, from Wakanda Forever, is taking a step back. Plus, to me, she always should be a secondary character, not a primary. But
understood.
Yeah, the audience seems to disagree. It did well at the box office, and people loved it. So,
yeah. All right, semifinal matchup here on my side of the bracket: Spider-Man Tom Holland versus Rocket Raccoon. Oof, interesting.
I am doing this projecting outwards.
Ooh, listen to this.
And I think the conclusion for Rocket is going to be so solid that ultimately he is going to surpass Spider-Man. So I'm taking Rocket Raccoon.
Unfortunately, I'm dealing with what we have in front of us.
Well, you do with that, man. You know, you make decisions how you make decisions.
Exactly. So to me, Tom Holland is the best character, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Solid English there.
And Rocket Raccoon, even though I love Rocket Raccoon in pieces, I just think you've done a three movie arc with Spider-Man, plus the stuff with the Avengers and the Endgame and Infinity War. So there's a lot with Spider-Man, Tom Holland to dive into in his character. And I think with Rocket Raccoon, I think this is, once I see the third one, then I might have changed my mind. But for right now, with what we had, the information I have to go with Tom Holland over Rocket Raccoon. Okay, our next matchup are the rivals, Doctor Strange versus Thanos, which you could argue was a little bit of a rival battle that went on in Infinity and Endgame. Matt.
Solid matchup.
Solid
matchup. But once I saw this, I already knew my answer. So I'm going Thanos.
Wow. You know what? Multiverse of Madness kind of undercut doctor for me. So I have to go Thanos in this situation.
All right.
So Thanos versus Rocket Raccoon for you, and Thanos versus Spider-Man Tom Holland for me. Matt.
Because they gave him surprisingly such a rich backstory
Yeah.
in Infinity War, for then it to pay off in Endgame, to take the time to craft that much so we understood the character. I think Thanos is the most interesting to me. So I'm taking Thanos.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I have to go Thanos as well because Thanos threatened to destroy the entire galaxy and did it. And it's a rarity in any of these kinds of shows or movies or what have you, universes where you have a villain actually win. And as much as I enjoy Tom Holland's series, I mean, coming in and being the main bad guy for 24 movies, in essence, the energy of him being around for building up to the 24 movies and knocking it out of the park the way he did makes him the more interesting character or the best character. So, yeah, I agree with you. Thanos is the answer there for me.
Yeah, giving him an origin story in the penultimate of a 24 movie arc, the balls and to pull it off.
The balls.
All right, so that concludes our top half of the bracket.
Yeah.
And we'll take this quick break here. A word from our sponsor. Be right back after this. All right, there we are.
Okay.
Moving on to the bottom half of the bracket, 2 versus 31.
Okay.
We have Loki versus Odin.
Oh,
the matchup Loki always wanted.
I mean, you have to go Loki only because Odin at times becomes just one note of the dad giving advice to the son and whatever, but Loki has had the more fantastic and interesting journey. So yeah, I have to go Loki. Yeah.
I would say my favorite Odin is when Loki is playing him. So I agree with you. Loki is the more interesting, captivating character. It's nothing against Anthony Hopkins. It's just that's what they ask him to do in that character.
Yeah, true. Very true.
All right, moving on. We both took Loki there. Now we have 15 versus 18. Vision versus Wasp, a.k.a. Hope Van Dyne.
That's easy for me. Vision is the answer for me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It's like a no-brainer. And then all the extra stuff they give him in WandaVision just to flesh out the character even more.
Yes, agreed.
All right, our 7 versus 26.
Yeah.
Star-Lord Peter Quill versus Mantis. A lot of friends matching up.
Versus Mantis? Oh,
versus
it's Star-Lord. Star-Lord's much better.
Feel bad for Mantis.
No offense.
Solid addition, like what she did in the holiday special. But Star-Lord makes it on. Finally, not finally, but the next matchup, 10 versus 23, Gamora versus Peggy Carter.
Ooh. We don't have enough time with Peggy. True. Even in Agent Carter, which is kind of it's an okay series. Not a great series or a good series. It's an okay series for what they wanted to do. And I love her as Captain Britain. But Gamora is just the more interesting character at this point. So yeah, I have to take Gamora.
Yeah, I agree. I think that one's pretty easy in favor of Gamora. All right, moving on. Number 3 versus 30, Falcon, aka Sam Wilson, versus Lupita Nyong'o's Nakia.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, I have to go Falcon. I mean, we got a whole series with him to see the complexities of his character and being black in America, being a black superhero in America, being friends with Cap, having the shield handed to him. There's so much with Sam that I think you have to kind of give the nod to him, because Denai, even in the second movie of Wakanda Forever, she's only in it for a small amount of time. And even in Infinity War Endgame, it's Denai Guerrero who has the much more active role in those two films.
Yeah. I think just Falcon's iconic on your left
Yeah.
cements him over Lupita's
Yeah.
Nakia. So, all right. So we both took Falcon there. Now we have 14 versus 19. Jane Foster versus Captain Marvel.
So, Jesus, this is tough. Because I like Love and Thunder, but I didn't necessarily like it for Jane Foster, if that makes sense.
Sure.
And I like the second movie, but I also think she's kind of an annoying character in the second movie. I like her in the first movie.
Are you talking about Dark World?
Yeah, Dark World. She's kind of a little bit like,
Yeah, you can tell she's checked out.
yes, right?
She doesn't want to be there unless which I understand. She's a hell of an actress.
Yeah,
But-
I'm going to go Captain Marvel on this because I really like. I don't 100% love her in Captain Marvel because I think that's the two directors' fault. But when she shows up in Infinity War and Endgame, she's fucking great. So,
Oh yeah, she's
And-
Superman.
yeah, and even in the final scene of Ms. Marvel, she's great. So, yeah, I'm going to give it to Captain Marvel on this one.
Yeah, I agree. I'm taking Captain Marvel. I just think there's more there for that character, more to
Mhm.
do, and in more pivotal moments in the
Yeah.
overall arc of the MCU.
Yeah.
All right, our penultimate matchup is in this opening round:
Yeah.
Scarlet Witch versus Nebula.
Well, it's not, I love Nebula. I think it's unfair that she is being pitted against Scarlet Witch. It's a terrible first round opponent for her because Nebula has a I would argue Nebula is more interesting than Gamora, in my opinion, her story and her journey.
Mhm.
And I thought Karen should have been nominated for Best Supporting Actress for her work in Endgame. So, but it's Wanda, and we've seen Wanda, we've seen the journey. So for me, between the two, even though Multiverse of Madness was a super letdown, I still think she's the best character of the two because of the fascinating stuff they've had her go through in her time in the MCU.
They're both complex and interesting characters. Wanda's just been allowed to explore more of it.
Yeah.
So I agree. Scarlet Witch makes it on. Our final of the opening round is Black Panther, Mr. T'Challa himself, versus Wong.
Oh my God. I mean, the answer is Black Panther, even though Wong is so much fun. But yeah, the answer is Black Panther for me. Wow. Okay.
Wong is a shitload of fun.
He is.
And they've gotten more out of him than you originally saw.
Yeah.
Black Panther is the more interesting character, though. So I'm going to go Black Panther.
There we go.
All right. So now we have, in the second round, we
Yeah.
both have Loki versus Vision.
God damn. See, because this is a tough one. Because is it favorite or best? And it's best. So, man, this is tough. I'm going to use my you go first card. I get one of them a bracket. So, Matt, you go first.
Just making up rules to Full Metal Bracket as you go now. That ain't gonna fly. I'm not answering. Go.
That's some bullshit.
I'm using my I'm not gonna answer card. We can just make up cards we want to use. I know my answer. It's already done. It's
Really?
already
Well, then
written down.
go if you know your answer.
It's not how this works, my friend.
Jesus. All right.
I think we're enjoying watching you sweat.
I just love Vision so much as a character. But you know what? Loki's had the more interesting journey, so he's best in that way. Whereas Vision has, in essence, been connected to Wanda. Everything's been siphoned through Stark or Wanda. He's never really kind of stood on his own. So I think I have to go Loki.
Yeah, Loki to me won that pretty easily.
Yeah.
Vision's a great character, but
I
just
love
there's
Vision.
so much more to Loki.
Yeah.
All right, now we have a difficult one: Star-Lord versus Gamora.
Oh, wow. The two lovers.
Yes.
I mean, Star-Lord has the more interesting story, even though because Gamora's essentially Daddy's little girl. She's been the favorite. And yes, she was taken out and watched her family die, or didn't watch it, but had to endure that and then raised by this horrible person. But we didn't see the Gamora teenage years or the Gamora young adult years or the Gamora 20s, right? So we don't
True.
have that journey to go on with her. And I think with Star Lord, with the mom and cancer and Yondu and the crew and everything like that, there's plus his love for Gamora. There's more to explore because now he's going to be trying to find her in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So I think that's the more interesting story. The best character, I guess. More best.
Yeah, we've plumbed more of the depths of Star-Lord.
Yeah.
Just with the family dynamic, and because they're both kind of ripped from their homes, so they share
Yes.
that in common.
Yeah.
And then we've gotten more of an exploration of his backstory. So I'm taking Star-Lord as well.
Okay.
So now we have Falcon versus Captain Marvel.
I guess I have to go Falcon.
So do I. I'm taking Falcon.
Just because we've had more time with him.
Yeah, I think it's a 51-49 type of situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed.
All right. And then Scarlet Witch versus Black Panther.
Wow. Okay. It has to be Scarlet Witch only because, unfortunately, Chadwick Boseman died. I think if Boseman had stayed Black Panther into the Black Panther sequel, we'd be looking at an all-timer in terms of character. So I have to give it to Wanda because Wanda's just had more time and we've seen her through numerous situations in her journey from, being a child and then being abused by Hydra and then being abused by the Ultron and eventually the Avengers situation and then through WandaVision into Multiverse of Madness. So yeah, I think she's the better of the two simply because we've had more to navigate with her.
Yeah, I agree. Everything that you just said. Because of Boseman's passing,
Yeah.
we didn't get more time with that character to explore. Whereas Scarlet now have had a series plus now a standalone or another movie on top of to really get into the psychology of the character.
Yeah.
So there's just more meat to chew on. So I'm going to go full agreement and say Scarlet Witch. So now our quarterfinal matchup at the top, it is Loki versus Star-Lord.
Oh, Loki, no doubt.
Yep. I mean, the twists and turns of the character.
Yeah.
And now he's like kind of a good guy, but there's still is he a bad guy?
Right.
He's got the great comedic moments like Star-Lord when Thor's getting his ass kicked in the arena by Hulk.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah, getting ragdolled by Hulk in Avengers. So he can match Star-Lord for the comedic, but then just the twists and turns and how much that character is morphed over the years.
Yeah.
All right, bottom matchup is Falcon versus Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, again, I have to give it to Scarlet Witch. I have to. Just again, we've got more time with her. Falcon's journey is still going,
Yeah, I agree with you. Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
We'll see how Falcon lands ultimately.
Right.
With the next movie.
Yeah, right. Which is what Jeff was telling me. He hears that it's like that's the one that's going to be the jewel of Phase 5 of the MCU. So I'm very excited to see what that's going to be like. New World Order.
Is Jeff reporting that? Because I'm the one that told him that. So.
Okay.
I was just bullshitting. I was like, let me see if he'll tweet this out. Hey, dude, I heard from a source of that. Anthony Mackie told me.
Yeah.
That him and Feige, after having breakfast. Anyway. So our semifinal matchup is Loki versus the Scarlet Witch.
Okay. I'm going to have to go Loki because I've enjoyed more of Loki's journey through all these films than I have Scarlet. I mean, Multiverse of Madness really undercut Scarlet, and the finale of WandaVision undercut Scarlet for me. So, best characters, I have to go Loki.
Yeah, I'm taking Loki as well. That television show really cemented.
Yeah.
You could do so much with this character. It's kind of, I don't want to say it's, limitless potential, but there's a lot to it.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right. So our final, we both are unanimous in our agreement. It is Thanos versus Loki.
Oof. As it should be, like it was on the ship. I mean, it has to be Loki. He has been around longer. The journey has taken more twists and turns. There's an arc, and it's still going all these years later. Whereas Thanos' arc is done. He came in late into the MCU in terms of as a physical presence having interactions with the heroes. So I have to say overall, although he was the big baddie, Loki is the more interesting character because there are more twists and turns to his character than there were for Thanos. We don't see the heartbroken Thanos, the depressed Thanos who fucked up the first time. They took away the story from the Infinity Gauntlet where he's in love with Hela, in essence, or Lady Death. So we didn't get to see that other side of Thanos that has an actual, for lack of a better term, humanity to him that I think would have made him a more well-rounded character. With Loki, we've gotten that. So watching his mom die in Loki, that was rough,
It's an excellent point.
Every once in a while. I get one through.
That's right. Even the sun shines on a dog's ass every once in a while.
Fair point.
Thank you, White Man Can't Jump. That was the first time I ever heard that phrase.
Are you watching that remake there, Matt? Lining up to see the remake?
I think the first one, it's an all-timer for me. I love that movie.
Yeah, you got it.
Absolutely love that movie.
Yeah.
And the fact that Kubrick loved that movie right before he passed and would watch it all the time just tells you how good that movie is.
What?
He did. That's some quote. Kubrick loved White Men Can't Jump.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Here, I'll look it up real quick to give you the specific, but I remember reading that and then finding a corroborative story saying, yeah, he really liked White Men Can't Jump.
Wow. He also liked AI though at the end, so I don't know. Wait, did you answer already, or are you just looking this up first?
I'm just looking this up first. So, according to Vanity Fair, reliable source.
Okay, I take it.
The headline is Stanley Kubrick considered White Men Can't Jump one of his favorite films.
Wow.
That's the headline. Yeah. So, I mean, kind of in agreement with Kubrick.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, who doesn't love Jack Harlow's acting skills? So
yeah, true. My God, that
the best,
dude. Those 30 seconds, I wanted to slam my head through a wall, dude.
Whatever, unless people say it's amazing, I'm not going to see it. I don't care.
Yeah.
But okay, so my answer, it's a tough one because you build up somebody like Thanos to be this ultimate heavy.
Yeah.
And they pull it off.
Yeah.
Which really is, a Herculean feat.
Yeah.
Because it's just been this looming specter for a decade. Oh, trust me, when it comes, it's going to be a great payoff. This guy's amazing. And then once we finally get it, you're like, yeah, no, he was everything they built him up to be, and then some. But then you have all the Loki stuff. That television show really, really kills it.
I mean, what are you going to do with that? It's so tough to throw out of the mix.
All right, well, I'm going to use my card. You have to answer first.
Didn't I already answer Loki? Loki's the answer for me.
I know. I'm just fucking around. Can I use my card for you to answer a second time? Go.
Sure. Yes. After much deliberation, looking at everything, as much as I would love to say Thanos, because it is the most difficult thing to be the big bad in an entire 25 episode or 25 movie universe, at the end of the day, I have to go with the character that I find more interesting. There's more arcs, and that is Loki. So Loki is my choice.
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with you.
Wow.
It's
a real struggle for you.
Well, because he has the bond with Hemsworth's Thor.
Yeah.
That really helps kind of ground the performance and the character to make you want him to change.
Right.
Whereas Thanos has those moments of redemption, like when he has to kill Gamora and she thinks it's like, whatever, anyone.
Yeah.
You would kill anyone, but then the tear in his eyes of he genuinely loves her.
Yeah, he does care about her. Right.
Yeah, thinks of her as his daughter.
Yeah.
Much as she, rebuffs any of those emotions and feelings.
Yeah.
But I think Loki, the stuff with Rene Russo.
Yeah.
And how lost the character is. I don't know. I just think there's a lot to that. So I agree with you. I'm going to go Loki.
Okay.
So there it is. Loki is our winner. Now, what did Charles have? You hinted at he had a final four. Does he have a winner?
Let me bring his email up here and see what he had 4 choices in his choice.
His final semifinal bracket.
Yeah, his semifinal bracket. Yeah, exactly. Let me see here. Sorry about that. It was he had my final 4 was Spider-Man versus Thanos and Loki versus Scarlet Witch. My final was Thanos versus Scarlet Witch, with Scarlet Witch winning it all based on her portrayal in Infinity War and WandaVision. I'm not going to argue that.
Yeah. I mean, we're basically in agreement. I took Rocket over Spidey, but you had the same final 4.
I did, but I ended up with Loki.
Yeah, we landed at Bird at Loki. So there it is. But another excellent bracket, Charles.
Thank you, Charles.
And I like the breakdown of by screen time.
Yeah, that's kind of a good way to balance things out.
Yeah. As opposed to just arbitrarily finding another metric. That one seems fair.
Yeah.
Because then it's also like Thanos being so low on the screen time total poll makes all of our finals.
Right.
Yeah. 28th out of 32 for screen time. It's crazy. So Yelena, I still can't believe it. How many episodes was she on?
Yelena?
Yeah.
2 with Hawkeye.
Wow, that's crazy.
Black Widow, the whole Black Widow movie, I guess there's a lot of screen time there. Right? Am I right with 4? Was it only 2? Because I might be wrong that there was more. She works all the time, by the way. I can't believe how much she works. It's insane. Like, she just, the Puss in Boots, the Don't Worry Darling, and then there's The Wonder that came out as well. Yeah, she was in 3 episodes of Hawkeye and Black Widow. That's basically it in terms of the MCU.
Yeah, she has 104 screen time. And Thanos is 45 minutes of screen time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there we go. All right, let's wrap it up. We got to get out of here. Thank you very much to everybody. We're at 44 minutes, for God's sakes. Thanks to Charles Kim for sending that bracket in. We appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. Staying in the vein of the MCU with Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania coming out. So thank you very much. Matt, do you want to tell them where to find you and what's going on?
You can follow me anywhere at Matt Nost, and you can find all the stuff I do if you just follow me over there, and that is it.
Yeah. And you can follow me at The Roca Says on Twitter and Instagram. And is this going to come out before the show or after the show?
After the show.
So just a reminder, the 27th? Is that what we said, 27th?
Yeah, it's Monday. Let me double check. The 27th at 6 p.m.
Yeah, we're doing it live show Monday the 27th at 6 p.m. That'll be our final show of the top 10. It'll be live at night, so y'all can hang out with us. You guys are off work. We can have some fun counting down a new list or a final list here for the top 10 and maybe hearing from some of you all as we go along through the show. All right. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode of Full Metal Bracket.